Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. My name is Evans Maponya. This lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. For those who want to pose questions during the lesson, I'm going to read out a WhatsApp number where you can text your questions. You can text us on 079 578 2908. For questions, you can text us on 079 on WhatsApp 578 2908. The topic for today is map work and tour planning. The subtopic would cover well time zones. Where will the topic be assessed? The topic forms section B of your question paper, and you'll come across questions on question 2 and also in question 1, short questions. You'll be asked questions relating to time zones also on controlled tests, skill assessment task. You'll find questions based on time zones also in the PET. You'll come across time zone questions in the preliminary examination and the final examination, and which we said it's your section B, question 2, and you'll also find them in the short questions which are allocated in section A of your question paper, that is question 1. Let's look at the objectives of the lesson. With objectives, we are referring to what you need to know as a grade 12 learner. What concepts you should study with understanding as you study and prepare for examination on the well time zone topic. You should understand the concept time zones. Other than time zone, you need to know the concepts that are related to the time zone study, one of which it's the UTC, the concept Greenwich, hemispheres, the equator, and seasons, standard local time, the international dateline, the 24-hour clock, which is 00:00 to 23:59 seconds. 59 minutes, I'm sorry. You should also know what a latitude is, and you should understand what we mean by a longitude. You should know the well time zone map. You should know the concept of daylight saving time, in short, DST. The reason why DST or daylight saving time is practiced, as well as the impact of time zones and daylight saving time on travel planning and traveling in general. All these concepts you need to know, understand, and internalize, because you will need such background information to master world time zones. For this discussion, we are going to focus on the main concepts that will enhance your understanding as we progress with other aspects of the time zones, like calculation of the flying time, calculation of the local time, uh, calculation of the arrival, as well as calculation of the departure. How do you add daylight saving? So you'll need background knowledge of these concepts that I'll get to. Now, what do you need to do to understand time zones? So our subtopic indicates understanding time zones. What is a time zone? In explaining a time zone, one could say time zones refers to the time which is measured on every longitude. Places of the same longitude have exactly the same time. The spaces between two longitude lines is called a time zone. So we are trying to define what a time zone is. So in every map, or in every physical map or map of the world that you'd come across, you'll find that there are lines that run horizontally from north to south. So we would say this is the structure of the earth or the globe. So you'll find these lines that runs across the globe from north to south, and they are referred to as longitude. Lines of longitude, they range from north and proceed to the south. So they are referred to as longitude. I'm emphasizing on longitude because there is an opposite concept to the longitude, which is a latitude. It runs from east to west. So this is a line of latitude, and there are so many, and they would form square shapes like this. So in everyday language, you speak of when you want direction or when you want to move from one place to another, you often say, give us the location. So your location is defined by lines of longitudes which run from north to south, or vice versa, from south to north. And in order for you not to forget them, you would say north, and it is long. It runs from the head to the toe. That is a longitude. And the latitude, you can put your arms like this to indicate that they run from east to west or west to east. So the latitude, you can say flatitude. And the longitude, as I've indicated, they run from the top of your head to your toe. So those are different lines that we find on a map, and they define for us a location. Not only location, but the longitude, it's where we derive our time from. I want to go back to the bullet that says, the first bullet that says, time is measured on every longitude line. So time is measured using these lines that runs from north to south. That is the first statement. Places on the same longitude have exactly the same time. So whichever country that this longitude passes from north to south, they get their time from this longitude. So countries which are cut, or cities that are cut by this line of longitude, will have the same time. I hope I'm clear on the second statement that is indicated. Spaces between two longitude lines is called a time zone. This area between this longitude and this is referred to as a time zone. I hope the explanation is clear. Right. As we move on to the next bullet, it says there are 24 hours in a day. This is a known fact to every one of us. Thus, or this indicates that there are 24 lines in the time zone which run from north to south. So we are still further defining what a longitude is, and how many of these lines that run from north to south. They are 24. And equally so, we have 24 hours that completes a day. Remember, a day is made up of daylight and night. So it takes 24 hours to complete one day, and we have 24 lines of longitude. The spaces or zone between every two longitude lines represents 1 hour. So the distance that you will travel from here to here would represent 1 hour. So the interval between these two lines of longitude is 1 hour. The space between this line of longitude and this is your space, it's 1 hour. So the third bullet simply tries to explain that. The earth is round, and to complete this cycle, this revolution, it takes you 360 degrees. This you must have learned in other subjects like math lit, mathematics, those who are doing mathematics, and geography, that the earth is round. This explains the shape of the earth, and it takes 360 degrees to complete this cycle. If you divide 360 by 24 hours of the day, it means that the earth rotates 15 degrees every 1 hour from west to east. The earth rotates 15 degrees every 1 hour to complete 1 hour. And a full revolution amounts to 360 degrees. This was just a definition of our world time zone. Now, to recap on the concepts, we have spoken about the longitude, and we indicated that the space between two longitude is equals to 1 hour, and it takes 15 degrees for an Earth or to rotate, and that amounts to 1 hour. Right, as we move on, now here is a diagrammatic representation of the Earth, and it shows the rotation that starts from the west and move eastwards. So the Earth rotates from the west and to the east. So they say it rotates on its axis, and this rotation, if it makes 360 degrees, completes 1 day, and that is equivalent to 24 hours. So what is key here is a demonstration of the rotation of the Earth, which move from west and ends in the east. That is the circulation. So we can conclude that the rotation of the Earth is anti-clockwise. Isn't it? The clock is rotating from east to west like this. But here, unlike the clock rotation, the Earth takes a different kind of rotation, which is from west to east. Right, we are going to move forward. This diagram also represents the Earth or the globe. And here are the lines of longitudes. As you can see them, they cut across from north to south the universe, the globe. And then, as you can see, these are the degrees which we said the interval, the space between these two it takes 15 degrees. And this degrees is towards the west. As you can see here, it has a W. So this line of longitude, if we were to label it in terms of its time zone, would say it is at 75 degrees. And when we move to the next one, you can realize that it is 90 to indicate that the spaces between them is 15 degrees, which defines the rotation of an Earth or of the Earth every hour. So this 15 degrees, we said, is equivalent to 1 hour. And as you move to the next one, you can see 15 has been added to the 90. This line of longitude is known as the 105 line of longitude west. And 105, if you add another 15 to arrive at this line of longitude, it's 120 degrees west. So I think I've made it clear the type of lines that we are referring to. It further explains here the 24 lines of longitudes. They are indicated, they are demonstrated for you on this globe. All standard meridians are 15 degrees apart. I think we have elucidated on this aspect on numerous occasions. The globe shows 24 standard meridians, standard lines of longitude, as it is evident from the diagram. The first standard meridian is the prime meridian. And which one is the prime meridian? is the one or the first one, which is the 0 degrees line of longitude. As you can see here, it is labeled as prime or the standard prime meridian. So this is our key line, and it separates the Earth into east and west. This 0 degrees longitude divides or halves the Earth into east and west. I'm sure you are grade 12 learners, you are following. Remember, if you miss something, please text on WhatsApp to 079 578 2908. Let's move on. From our objectives, we've indicated that we are going to explain the concept UTC. UTC stands for, or the acronym UTC stands for Universal Time Coordinate. It lies on the 0 degrees longitude line. So if you don't want to say the UTC, I'm giving you another name for the Universal Time Coordinate, or you can simply say the UTC or the 0 degrees longitude line. It's another name given to the Universal Time Coordinate, which we said is located at 0 degrees north line of longitude, which ranges from north to south. Another name for the UTC or the 0 degrees longitude is the Greenwich Meridian Time. And in short, you can say the GMT. The GMT. And if you don't want to say the Greenwich Meridian Time or GMT, you can simply just say prime meridian. So these are the name given to one line of longitude. And this says to you, this line of longitude is very important. It's critical for our understanding the time zone. The standard world time is measured from this line of longitude with so many names attached to it. So the standard time is measured from the Universal Time Coordinate. That's where the world derives its time from. All lines east of the UTC are ahead of time. Therefore, they are indicated with this plus sign. So they will indicate before the number that this is a +1, a +2, and remember we have 24 lines of longitude up to a +11. I'll get to explain the idea, the whole idea behind that as we move on with our discussion. All lines west of UTC are behind, so they are indicated by the negative sign to indicate that all countries in the West are behind in time, and they are indicated with the sign or the symbol minus. The exact time of a certain place is called local time. Say, for instance, I ask you, what is, or I ask of you, what is the time in Johannesburg? And you say it's 14:25. Then you'll be expressing the local time of Johannesburg. And this is based on where the sun is over at the specific time. So the issue of time has a direct relation to the movement of the sun. You know where the sun lies in the morning, where the sun lies midday, and where the sun lies in the afternoon. And in the olden days, people used to guess time based on the position of the sun. Remember, the sun is not moving. What is rotating is the earth. So the sun is stable, is not moving. It is the earth that is rotating, and where the sun lies on different times of the day, people can guess exactly or more or less what the time would be. So that is called local time. As we move forward, I want to explain clearly the issue of the clock. So to find time zones well, we rely on a 24-hour clock. So the 24-hour clock eliminates confusion between morning time and afternoon time. So in the morning, we usually say AM, and in the afternoon, we usually say it's PM. So those PM and AMs are not necessary when we discuss time zone. We only work with the 24-hour clock and nothing else. You will see typical example of time as expressed in a 24-hour clock. So no PMs, no AMs, no o'clock when we discuss the world time zones. Airline schedule use the 24-hour clock to state times of departure and times of arrival. They don't express time in respect of AMs and PMs. Rather, they use the 24-hour clock. Like I've indicated, I'm going to take you through the example to express the time in a 24 or on a 24-hour clock. As we move on with bullet number 3, when one works with time zones and calculates time differences between countries, it is important to be familiar with the 24-hour clock. So to get your times right, you need to work on a 24-hour clock. Those are some of the rules that you need to follow. So this you can number them as you study. That rule number 1, when we do time zone, we work with a 24-hour clock. No AMs or PMs. No o'clock, but we refer to time on a 24-hour clock basis and nothing else. That is the rule. You can say rule number 1 for yourself, that when we study time zones or well time zones, we work on a 24-hour clock. So there are so many rules that I will elucidate as we move forward. Right. This is a representation of a 24-hour clock. This is the kind of clock that we'll refer to. As you can see here, the last hour of and the first hour of the last hour of the day is transcribed as 00 hours, not 24. So you'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 23 hours. And the last hour of the day, it's 00 colon 00, as expressed in this 24-hour clock. So this tells us that we have only one old clock as expressed in time, 101 colon 00, to indicate 1 o'clock in the morning. And all these times up to here, all these times to my right indicate that is still a morning. And from the half-hour mark, these times, this side indicates that it is an afternoon. An afternoon. So we operate or we work on a 24-hour clock basis and nothing else. Right. As we proceed with the 24-hour clock, by using the 24-hour clock, you can eliminate mistakes. That was on bullet number 2. You can get rid of mistake. You can get rid of uncertainties as to whether it is in the morning or in the afternoon. So this we are not going to use as we discuss time zone or as we study time zone. So there is only one. This time it's only in the morning. 7, it's only 7 in the morning. I don't want to also call them the AMs, but 12 suggests that we have 12 hours, which is midday. 1300 hours, it refers to the afternoon, 1 p.m. So the 24-hour clock eliminates this confusion where you'd say it's 1 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon. So this works out well to define for us the time. And look at how it is transcribed. It's 23 colon 59. That indicates it's 1 minute to midnight. 00 hours suggests that we are in the middle of the night, and 001 suggests that it's 1 minute past midnight. I hope grade 12 learners, you are following my teaching, you are following my explanations, and to thus far, I just trust that you understand the concepts that I said are very much important for us to master so that we find the calculation of time very simple as we proceed. Right. On an actual map or on an actual globe, this is the position of the prime meridian, which we said is the universal time coordinate, or the GMT as the direction arrow points where it crosses. So it crosses somewhere here, and we said it is our 0 degrees longitude because it is moving from north to south. So longitude, you would associate it with long. It is long. It stretches from north to south. Grade 12 learners, as you can hear in my deliberation, I'm emphasizing this critical line, the 0 degrees longitude. And we said it is also known as the prime meridian. It is known also as the universal time coordinate, and it is also referred to as Greenwich meridian time. So as you move from this 0 degrees towards the west, there is this line of longitude, and towards the east also there is this line of longitude, and this line of longitude west of the UTC or the 15 degrees longitude that is west of the UTC, it is known to be a -1 line of longitude, and 15 degrees east of the 0 degrees longitude or the UTC, you would have the +1 line of longitude. I'm sure you follow, grade 12 learners. Now, UTC also defines for us day and night. Different places on Earth have different times. As you can see, when it's morning this side, when it is daylight, let me say, this side, as you can see, this part of the Earth is dark, and it is during the night. So you would agree with me that when it's daylight in other countries, it is night in the opposite half. We'll get you to understand how it works. So here is an activity for you, grade 12 learners. It says, write the correct format of the time 24-hour clock in the following. So you have 8 in the morning, you have 8 in the evening, you have 10:30 in the morning, 9:30 in the evening, noon, midnight. So you'll have to express your time using the 24-hour clock. What we are trying to say to you, grade 12 learners, is that referring to time like this, it's wrong and not acceptable in the study of time zone. We cannot write such a long sentence to refer to 8 hours. Neither will we write such a long sentence whilst we can use a short way to express time. Not only a short way, but a short way which is universally recognized, which is recognized by everyone in the world. So you will agree with me that when you are in Spain and you write like this, you might cause tourists from Spain a lot of confusion. Here is how you should correctly complete the times as per question. 8 in the morning is 8:00. 8 in the evening is 20:00. 10:30 in the morning is 10:30. 10:30. 9:30 in the evening is 21:30. Noon is 12:00 and midnight is 00:00. So this is how we express our time, or the correct way to refer to time when dealing with time zones. Grade 12 learners, thus far, we were defining concepts that are critical for your understanding of time zone, right through the time zone itself. We know how to define it. We know how to unpack the acronym UTC and its given names, which we said is 3 to 4 names, including GMT, which is the Greenwich Meridian Time, including 0 degrees longitude, and including concepts such as prime meridian, all those names referring to the UTC. We have clearly explained the 24-hour clock that we will use as we discuss time zone. We also look into the shape of the Earth, which we said it's round, and we have explained the rotation of the Earth, which we said it is always rotating from west to east, and that kind of movement is known as the anti-clockwise rotation of the Earth. Other than the rotation of the Earth, we have seen also how this longitude, the UTC, divides the Earth into west and east, and times in the west we said they are behind, and times in the east are ahead. Times in the west are represented by the minus symbol, and times in the east are represented by a plus symbol. We also looked into the importance of transcribing time in the correct way, as given here on the memo of this for this activity. Grade 12 learners, please pay particular attention to the concepts that I have just alluded to thus far. It is important for you to internalize them, because this would be our standard operating procedure as we do the time zone. Going or reflecting backwards again, I have given you rule number 1, which we said whenever you are asked about time, when you do time zones, always express your time using the 24-hour clock, which we said is the rule for our time zone discussion. Our rule for our time zones when asked questions about time. So thus far, grade 12 learners, I want us to take a break for 5 minutes, and while taking the break, you can get yourself a glass of water. You can refresh your minds and reflect on what we have discussed thus far. Let's take a short break of 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll further the discussion on time zone concepts. Welcome back. I hope you have refreshed and you are ready to go. Remember that you can post your questions for further clarity on this WhatsApp number 079 578 2908. You can post your question to the number on WhatsApp 079 578 2908. That is in case you want some clarity on some of the concepts that we have looked into. Now, grade 12, that's where we have ended, where we defined time accordingly or according to the right format, according to the correct format. So this is how we write time. You lose marks if you transcribe your time like this: in the morning, AMs, PMs, midnight. So you have to be specific and express your time like 13:00. Right, let's move forward. Latitude. Remember, a latitude is the opposite of the longitude. So latitude, it's flat. So for you not to confuse it with the longitude, you can name it platitude, and you'll remove the F to indicate that it is flat. It is running from east to west, from left to right. So that it's a latitude. So it runs from east to west, if we are to explain it. The equator is the 0 degrees line of longitude that divides the Earth into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So this line in red here separates the Earth into the northern side and the southern side. These are the two hemispheres in terms of a division by this line of latitude, which we said it's at 0 degrees. So you can simply name this line the equator or the 0 degrees latitude. And we are saying it is flat. Remember, the longitude will run from north to south, and the most eminent one is the 0 degrees longitude. Grade 12 learners, I think we can now separate between a longitude and a latitude. The longitude moves from the head to the toe, and the latitude, it moves sideways. So the importance of this line is that it divides the Earth into north and south, and this division brings about the fact that when it is summer in the south, it is winter in the north. When it is winter in the south, it is summer in the north. So it plays a crucial role when coming to definition of particular seasons. So this division helps you know exactly when you are in the south and you want to visit the north. It helps you to choose the appropriate items of clothing when you are visiting the north. We said if it's summer here, it is winter this side. So meaning that if you want to visit the north and it is during winter this side, you don't have to take with you the type of attire that would match the same season. Rather, you'd go, if it's winter this side, you'll take summer clothing. That is one of the crucial aspects, the crucial roles that we need to know about this divide that is caused by the prevalence of the 0 degrees latitude, which we said it is the equator. As we move forward, like I've indicated, the crucial role that the equator plays, and it gives us 4 seasons in 1 year, and here are the name: summer, autumn, winter, and spring. So this is how it appears as the earth rotates. As the earth rotates, as it moves, upon reaching certain boundaries, upon reaching certain areas in its rotation, naturally the season would change. So that's why you'll have this represent winter solstice. This one, which is the opposite, it's a summer solstice. And we have the autumn equinox, as well as the spring equinox, which is known as vernal equinox. So you don't have to stress deeper in understanding the whole thing about the rotation. What you need to know is that we have 4 seasons in a year, and they are going to be critical as we do the calculations or as we discuss the time zones. Another line which is important for you to learn and understand its importance when dealing with time zone, it is the international date line, and in short, it is referred to as the IDL. This is the correct acronym for this important line of longitude. So it is the 180 degrees line of longitude. Remember, to complete a revolution or a complete cycle, you need 360 degrees. So the line halfway, as you move with longitudes, it's referred to as the IDL. If you can add or if you can multiply 180 by 2, you'll get 360. So this indicates that it's the halfway mark, and then you get this line of longitude. So from 0 to 180, you'll come across the international date line. The date changes from today to yesterday when traveling west over the IDL, Japan to Canada via the Pacific Ocean. Right. The date changes from today to tomorrow when traveling east over the IDL, Canada to Japan over the Pacific. So let us scrutinize the two. So remember, when you go towards the west, you will have a minus sign. So meaning that you subtract the time from east to west. And once you cross this line, as you do the subtraction, as you move backwards, once you cross this line, then the date would change from today to yesterday when you travel towards the west and happen to cross or to jump over the 180 degrees, then the date will change from today to yesterday. This particularly happened over Japan to Canada via the Pacific Ocean. So you'll refer to this from the map. As we assess bullet number 3, the date changes from today to tomorrow when traveling east over. This X just indicates that when you cross over the IDL, moving eastwards from Canada to Japan over the Pacific, then you'll have to increase 1 day. So today will change to tomorrow. So in the first instance, you subtract a day when you move westwards. So west, you will subtract 1 day only if you cross the 180 degrees. But moving eastwards, you will add a day. So today will change to tomorrow when you cross the 180 degrees whilst moving towards the east. Sometimes countries like USA, Russia, and Australia have more than one time zone. These countries, I know of USA, has more or less 6 time zones. Russia has plus minus 9 time zone because they occupy a vast area that cuts across so many time lines, so many lines of longitude. So basically making it difficult for them to conform to one local time. So in USA, unlike in our own country, South Africa, where we have only one standard time, the time that is attributed in Johannesburg is the same time that you'll find in Cape Town. It is the same time that you'll find in Polokwane. It is the same time that you'll find in Durban and Bloemfontein. It is the same time that you'll find in Mbombela. So we have only one time zone, which is derived from a +2 line of longitude, whereas countries like USA would have some cities like New York, you'll find it at -5, Dallas occupying a different time zone, and so forth. So grade 12 learners, please pay particular attention to these 3 countries, cities that are found in these 3 countries, that they are not allocated within the same time zone. So they have different times. So the question asking about the time in a particular city in USA would be specific, and you need to check through the appropriate time zone where it is located. So let's save this for another discussion when we'll be doing the calculations of these time zones. As we move forward, this is the globe. It represents the IDL. As you can see here, it is not such a straight line of longitude because some of the countries, you'll find that they overlap this side. So in such instances, this line of longitude will take a bend to accommodate some of the cities in one time zone. So it sometimes bend, as you can see here, and the arrow here just emphasize on the rotation of the Earth, that the Earth rotates from west to east, and if it rotates from west towards the east, then it is the opposite. That's when you'll have to reduce 1 day. And if the rotation is east to west, you cross this line of longitude, then it will be minus. So if you count backwards, you are subtracting. If you count towards the west, you are subtracting 1 day. You are losing 1 day, and when you are moving eastwards and you cross the IDL, and you cross, as the yellow line indicates here, you gain another or a new day. Right. This is just a demonstration of the IDL, which we are saying stands for International Date Line. And once crossed eastwards, you would add another day. And once crossed westwards, you reduce or you subtract 1 day as well. This is what I've just been explaining. As you can see, this area, Karibati. So it had to take a twist here to accommodate all these places, all these islands, and put them in one time zone. So it has taken a bend here to accommodate these islands, Kiribati, Tekalo, as well as Samoa. So they wanted to fall into the same time zone as Tonga and Fiji, as you might realize. They didn't want to go this side. They didn't want to take this time zone, but they wanted to belong this side. So this line of longitude had to take a bend. Right. This is how your world time zone map will look like. But what is missing from this picture, from this diagram, it is the watch that the 24-hour clock that started with the 00 hours, 1 up to 23, this side. So it is missing from here, but you will be provided in every assessment with a map that has all the details of time, so that it will help you with calculations. Right. As you can see here, this is our 0 degrees longitude, which we said it is the prime meridian. It is our UTC, where the whole world derive its time from, or it is a guiding line that provides us with time. So when you go towards the east, you start counting, so you'll have 0, and you'll have +1, you'll have +2, +3 here, +4, +5, +6, +7, +8, +9, +10, and +11. This side also you'll have -1, -2, -3, -4, up to -11. And as you can see here, the 12th line, it's our 180 degrees longitude, and it's indicated by dotted line. So this is our 12th line, and this we counted up to 11, but as you can see here, it is an area that occupied by 12th line, which is the 180 degrees. So we said when you cross this, moving towards the east, you add a day, and crossing this towards the west, you are subtracting, you are losing, you subtract a day. So the changes here, today changes into yesterday, here, today changes into tomorrow or the next day. So this side, you can say we move on to the previous day whenever this longitude, the 180, is crossed. Either way, it's either you gain or you lose a day. Daylight saving time, in short, it's known as DST. DST is the acronym for Daylight Saving Time. Countries located far from the equator have very short days, and the sun rises long before 6 a.m. in summer and sets earlier. Therefore, those countries tune their clock 1 hour ahead of local or standard time, or they adjust their time 1 hour ahead in their summer, and this is called summertime. So this is another name for daylight saving time, summertime. Daylight saving time, or the DST, or summertime. So meaning that during certain seasons of the year, especially summer, some of the countries, because of long hours of the day, because of the long duration of sunrise during the day, then they add 1 hour to their day. So their clock is adjusted ahead by 1 hour. And this kind of condition whereby we have long sun rises in days, during the days in summer, is referred to as daylight saving time. So it's the way in which countries involved would adjust 1 hour ahead of their standard time, as it is indicated here, like in spring. So this time has been adjusted forward by 1 hour, and come winter or autumn, then the 1 hour is adjusted backwards. So this backward adjustment is referred to as a fallback. And from our explanation, we said this happened in autumn when we have short days and longer nights. And the forward adjustment happens in spring and summer, and this is known as the spring forward, and this one is known as the fallback. The term fallback means to return to standard time as days become shorter. And spring forward, it's when we extend the normal time by 1 hour, because we are experiencing longer days and shorter nights. The impact of time zone and daylight saving on travel planning. How time zones and DST uh, affects on travel plans. So tourists flying to other countries must consider time zones and must determine exactly how late they will arrive at their destination. So if you move from South Africa to other countries, especially overseas countries like the United States of America, New York, you must determine exactly what time you will arrive. Are you going to arrive there at night? Are you going to arrive there in the morning, early hours of the morning? Are you going to arrive during the day? So the time zones help us to establish the exact time we will arrive at a country or at the destination where we would want to visit. At night, early morning, public transport can be closed and not available. So sometimes it is frustrating when you get there, say maybe at 2:00, and you find that there is no transport or no shuttle to take you to your nearest hotel. So those are the conditions in which or which the knowledge of time zone and daylight saving come in and help us to establish our arrival time to destination. It also assists with uh, giving you some information with regard to whether it's a holiday or not, because you live here only to find at your destination it's already a holiday, and you become stranded. And some of the border posts, if you are to cross borders, they are closed at night. So knowledge of daylight saving time and time zone help you to plan appropriately. We have a tendency of owning some businesses, and you may find that that business doesn't operate during a holiday or doesn't operate at night. So you need to establish by getting back to your time zones and your daylight saving and see if these businesses are still um, open for business at the time of the call. So these are some of the impacts on of time zones and daylight saving time on travel planning. A reason for daylight saving time, decreasing residential usage electricity. So meaning that if we have an increase of 1 hour during the day, it means no need for light during that time. At 6 or at 18:00, you are able to see around, to figure things around in your home. So there is no need for lights. It also helps to decrease the number of traffic accidents because it is visible even if it's late in the afternoon. It reduces crime because criminal activities, most of the crime activities happen during the dark. So when we have that extra extended opportunity to enjoy daylight, then we are the level of crime it's reducing. it will also help increasing recreational time. So if you visit those attractions, you have 1 hour more to enjoy or to experience the place that you have visited, or to partake in whatever activity that you are involved. It is also increasing economic activities. Shops or the businesses have extra 1 hour to operate, thus increasing profitability. So such businesses will make more money because they have an extra hour to operate. Now, let's look at the activity. It says give the correct answer for the following questions. Number 1, state how many time zones the world is divided into. Number 2, which line of longitude divides the Earth into the eastern and western hemisphere? Number 3, which line marks the end or start of a day? Number 4, which line of longitude divides the Earth into northern and southern hemisphere? Number 5, what is the standard time zone for South Africa? These are some of the questions that you need to answer. So in the interest of time, I'm going to take you through each of these questions in discussing the best possible answers that we may provide for these statements or questions. As we move forward with questions, when practicing daylight saving time or DST, participating countries are required to adjust their clock. A, backward by 1 hour in summer. B, forward by 1 hour in winter. C, forward by 1 hour in summer. And D, backward by 2 hours in summer. Let's look at the activity memo. State how many time zones the world is divided into. The correct answer would be 24 time zones. Question number 2. Which line of longitude divides the Earth into the eastern and western hemisphere? We said it is called the UTC, or the Greenwich Meridian, or the 0 degrees longitude, or you can say the prime meridian. I can see here my memo doesn't give other names. We have the prime meridian as well as the 0 degrees longitude. So these are further names to explain this name. Question number 3, which line marks the end and the start of a day? That line is the international date line, or you can simply just say the IDN. So, or you can say the 180 degrees longitude. So I'm just giving you other alternative answers other than the international date line. Number 4, which line of latitude divides the Earth into northern and southern hemisphere? Is the equator or the 0 degrees latitude? The 0 degrees latitude. As we move forward, it says what is question number 5? What is the standard time zone for South Africa? South Africa is located at +2 universal time coordinate. When practicing daylight saving time, practicing countries are required to adjust their clocks. A, backward by 1 hour. In summer, it is not correct. Backward by 1 hour in winter, also not correct. But forward by 1 hour in summer is correct. And this makes backward by 2 hours in summer incorrect. Now, in short, the crucial aspects is that The rotation of the Earth is from west to east, so it is anti-clockwise. And remember those lines of longitudes. We spoke of the UTC and the IDL, which is the international date lines. So these are two critical lines of longitude, and once crossed eastwards, you add another day, and once crossed towards the west, you lose one day. So that is the core here, as indicated here. Eastwards, you gain, and backwards, you lose a day. So in short, those are the concepts that you need to master as you do time zone. With that said, we have come to the end of time zone concepts, and going forward, we'll look into other important aspects that you should know about time zones. With that said, I hope you'll be ready for the next sections that will be discussed on this platform. Thank you so much for having joined us as audience, our most important audience for the program. Thank you once again. Please go and study those concepts so that they stay in the back of your brain. They will be of value to you when we do other certain things as we proceed with the discussion of time. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.